All right, well, somebody wanted to see a quick demo of the video features on the Nikon Z50, and wasn't something I'd normally do, but I just go over the Z50 and how I have it set up. I just want quick and easy, simple video because I don't do much video, and in my case, I usually just want it to have face tracking because I'm usually just like making a video myself for something for YouTube, but so let's just look at it real quick before we go into what you see on the screen here. So in the menu, there is a video section, and you can change your quality here to high or normal. If you're not making Oscar-winning videos, you might just probably would reduce your file size and set it down to normal, and you probably wouldn't notice any difference in the quality. There's a couple differences for the couple different settings for the file type. MOV or MP4. I usually use MOV and high quality. ISO settings. This is for the auto ISO. So if you're in a darker area, like in the house, and you're not in bright daylight, this helps to keep the exposure, so it's not too dark. So basically, turn on auto ISO, and you'd always want to have your minimum ISO that it starts out with at 100. There's no reason to really set it at a higher level because you can just let auto ISO bump it up as it needs to. And in my case, I've set the limit for the maximum sensitivity to 6400. That's your preference as far as what you like to see in the quality of video. 6400 would probably be okay unless you're really, really dark situation. So that's usually where I leave it. But if you get videos and where they're just not bright enough, they're not too dark for you, you can increase that if you want. And white balance, I usually just use auto white balance. That way it's a lot easier if you're indoors or some crazy lighting situation where the light is like really super yellow or greenish or has some strange tint. You can actually go in here and just change the white balance to something that looks more fitting for the video. Picture control, that's like the same thing for the photo picture controls. It's standard. It's just the normal color and contrast and so on. Neutral would be less contrast, and less colorful. Vivid would be more contrast, more colorful, and that sort of thing. Monochrome is just black and white. That sort of. You have all the common things in there. You can just set those to whatever you like. And active delighting, you can actually. This will help the shadows. If the shadows are a little darker than you like, you can turn active delighting on. It'll kind of help boost the exposure and brighten the shadows a little bit. I usually leave it off. I usually leave the noise control off. Metering is, I would just leave it, again, if you're just wanting something simple, I'll just leave it on matrix metering. And again, these are all for the video section here. Okay, now for the focus, you need to, for the face tracking and for it to continuously focus on something that's moving, you need to use AFF, so autofocus full time. It's a little different than some cameras. Some cameras, if you just have it in AFC, continuous autofocus, that's what it's going to do. It's going to continuously autofocus, but for whatever reason, Nikon has this other mode called AFF where it's constantly focusing, but most cameras, if you have it in continuous autofocus and movie mode, it'll continuously focus anyway. So you want that. Area mode, I'll talk about that here in just a second, but for the face tracking and any kind of tracking at all, you'd want auto area mode. You can turn your VR off and on. There's really no reason to turn it off. The sport mode, I believe that's if you're panning quickly or if you're in a moving car, for example. I think that basically what it does as far as the image stabilization, the vibration reduction, Nikon calls it VR, but that kind of helps, I think, if you're moving quickly to the side. It won't try to stick the image stabilization in one point. It'll look more natural as you're moving the camera quickly or as you're moving in a car quickly. So, but normally I'm just in a normal situation. I'm not anything like that. I just leave it in normal, on and normal. You could turn on the electronic vibration reduction if you want. It's a little bit extra vibration reduction, a little more stabilization, but I think it kind of crops the picture a little bit. It may create some strange artifacts in there sometimes, maybe not, but I normally don't use it. I don't really see a need to. Excuse me. So the microphone sensitivity, you can plug in a wired microphone here on the side, or a wireless mic under the cover. But if you're just using the in-camera microphones, I guess it's there and there, you can set the sensitivity of the microphone. You can see it bouncing around now. It's just set on auto. You can set it on manual and manually adjust it from, was it 1 all the way up to 20 or something like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it back to auto in my case, but that's what that's for. And what this does, I think that's if you're if you have a really loud or big changes in the audio. So like, you know, maybe you're in a concert and like it's kind of quiet, then all of a sudden it's super loud. I think I'd have to check. Actually, then we can press the. Can we do the? No, it's not going to give us any information on that. I was looking for the help button to see if it had any information on that, but I think that's what it's for. Frequency response is if you don't want a lot more background noise and you're just talking and you want just your voice to be picked up mostly, you can do that. Switch it to, hopefully this is focusing right, and looks like it's a little blurry in my viewfinder, the Z7 here. I usually just leave it in wide range. And you can turn the wind noise reduction on and off. I think it's generally recommended to leave it off because it can make the audio sound, you know, not quite as good if you have it on and there's really no wind to kind of block out anyway. But I usually leave it off because I normally would use a microphone that I plug in that has a little windsock on it anyway. So I believe that's really kind of it for the movie shooting section in the menus. And now for the I menu, again, if you're in movie mode, the I menu can be different between movie mode and photo mode. So as you go into photo mode, you can see, I don't know what that noise is in the background, you probably didn't hear that. This menu can be customized between photo and video mode. So, but you can get access to these things like the frame rate and the quality and so on here, so you can quickly have access to change that. I don't know what is going on with my cat behind me here. Too easily distracted. So anyway, you can get access to those in the I menu. Things like the microphone settings, you know, all that kind of general stuff you can change. So again, now we need to be in the AF auto area AF mode for what we're going to do here for the face tracking, and for the focus mode AFF, so that's autofocus full time. And so now I have the face tracking turned on. You see it tracking this guy's face here on the Half-Life game. Go back to the menu real quick. So if I go over to the autofocus settings in the custom settings menu, autofocus, and you go in there, there's this A2 is the auto area AF face and eye detection. And like I said, on the Z6 and Z7, they just had a firmware update that includes animals, which is basically cats and dogs. So that's not an option on the Z50 right now. I think it will be in the future. But if you want the face and eye detection on, this is where you have that on. So now you see when I'm in the full AFF and the auto area mode for auto, that's the mode you'd be in where it's tracking the face. So you notice if I go into one of these, like this wide area mode, now it's not tracking a face. It won't pick up a face. It'll just track whatever's, or it'll focus on whatever's in that box. So let's go back to auto. So now we're picking up the face, and it looks like it got his eye there for a second. When you're in video mode, it won't, there's no eye autofocus in video mode. It's just face tracking autofocus in video mode. There is eye autofocus when you're in photo mode, but not video. Some cameras have the eye tracking in video mode, but this Nikon doesn't. Okay, so the other thing I was going to say, notice how when we're in this mode, if it says press the OK button for tracking. So when you're in this auto area mode and then your AFF, So when you're in that auto area mode, what you can do two different things. You can let it track a face or anything that's anything that's in the frame. It'll just try to focus on anything. So it's picking up the couch here, for example. When I come back over here to the face, now it's picking up the face. But when you're in this mode, when it's locked on the face, you can just press the OK button, and now you see you have a tracking box. Now you can bring it down, let's say focus on that lens cap there, and either use AF on button in the back if you have it set to AF on, or the shutter button in the front. So half press shutter and hold it down, and now it's, sorry about that, it's tracking that location, that basically that lens cap I focused on. And to stop tracking, press the this little minus button here. It tells you on the screen what to do, so press OK again to get the focus tracking box up and focus on, point it towards something, half press the shutter, and whoops, hold on, and it's tracking that. So in the video mode, you can just press the half press the shutter, actually, because we're in that full-time autofocus, so that was my mistake. Just half press the shutter, now it's tracking it. And if you want to stop it, you can press this here, or you can press the OK button again. So again, I'll just start the tracking. Actually, a little different in photo mode. If you're in video mode, half press the shutter, and now it's turned yellow and it's tracking that box, that area. You press the OK button to get out of it. And if you want to totally exit out of the tracking, go back to face tracking, see this little, it tells you on the screen. You can either press that point on the screen or press this over here. I believe so. Actually, no, you had to press right there. Well, I think it did. I probably just didn't press it right. Okay, so now we're back on the face tracking again. So just keep that in mind. If you accidentally click the OK button for some reason and you're confused about what's going on, like why is it not tracking the face again, and you half press the shutter button and you let go and it's tracking something, like what's it doing? That's what it's doing. So you just get out of that tracking mode and just go back to normal to where it can track faces. So obviously then when you want to start recording a video, you have to use the record button up here, a little red button next to the on and off and the ISO button. Some cameras will let you customize it to use the shutter button to start video recording when you're in the video mode. Some don't. Nikon is one of those that doesn't. So you can see it's recording now. Whoops. Up here says it's recording, and you just press stop again. Basically press the video recording button to stop. So you can actually take pictures during video. I think that's what it was doing when I was half pressing and pressing a little too hard before. So if I click it, you can, it's actually taking a picture there. You can see, I think it's up here, it's doing something. So now if I go back into playback, that's actually a picture, it's not a video. And we go back a few, and then there's the video. You see the little play icon. So if you really want to, for some reason, you can get some JPEG files by snapping 16:9 aspect ratio pictures, which is, again, if you're just in this mode right here, you're not recording video yet, you didn't press the video record button, you can actually press the shutter button all the way down, and you just took a picture. So if I go back into playback here, there's that picture. Press the OK button, zooms in on what the focus point was. And again, you go back and you'll see that there's the actual video. You get some play options here. It tells you what to do on the D-pad for basically stop and play and fast forward, rewind. I think that's really about it. Again, this was kind of a more for people who are not familiar with it. It's more of a, I guess if you want to call it a beginner type video. Had somebody request it, so if that helps you, I hope that's good for you. And I think that's really about all there is to talk about for the Z50 in video. I think it does have really nice high quality video, and it's really simple and easy video, and that's what I like because I don't do a lot of video very much, and for me it's really simple and easy, and I think it'll be easy for you too. Thanks for watching.